Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Okay, so today they asked me to give class, and so beneficial for everyone's advancement in Krishna consciousness. So we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam. This is chapter 14, Ideal Family Life, text 1 through 4. No, there's audience. You are here. Okay, so. Okay, so here's the introduction for chapter 14, Ideal Family Life. This chapter, thank you so much. Oh, he's right there. Oh, thank you so much. This chapter describes the occupational duties of the householder according to the time, the country, and the performer. When Yudhisthira Maharaj became very much inquisitive about the occupational duties for the householder, Narada Muni advised him that a grihasta's first duty is to be fully dependent on Vasudeva, Krishna, and to try to satisfy him in all respects by executing one's prescribed devotional service. This devotional service will depend on the instructions of authorities and the association of devotees who are actually engaged in devotional service. The beginning of devotional service is Shravanam, or hearing. One must hear from the mouths of realized souls. In this way, the grihasta's attraction to his wife and children will gradually be reduced. As for the maintenance of his family, a grihasta, while earning what he requires for his living, must be very conscientious and must not undergo extraordinary endeavors simply to accumulate money and unnecessarily increase in material comforts. Although a grihasta should externally be very active in earning his livelihood, he should internally be situated as a full self-realized person, without attachment for material gains. His dealings with family members or friends should be performed simply to fulfill their purpose. One should not be extravagantly engaged in this way. Instructions from family members and society should be accepted superficially, but in essence, the grihasta should be engaged in occupational duties advised by the spiritual master and Shastra. Specifically, a grihasta should engage in agricultural activities to earn money. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 1844, Krishi Go Rakshya Vanigyam. Agricultural, cow protection, and trade are specific duties of grihastas. If by chance or by grace of the Lord more money comes, it should be properly engaged for the Krishna consciousness movement. One should not be eager to earn more money simply for sensual pleasure. A grihasta should always remember that one who is endeavoring to accumulate more money than necessary is to be considered a thief and is punishable by the laws of nature. A grihasta should be very much affectionate towards lower animals, birds and bees, treating them exactly like his own children. A grihasta should not indulge in killing animals or birds for sense gratification. He should provide the necessities of life even to the dogs and the lowest creatures, and should not exploit others for sense gratification. Factually, according to the instructions of Srimad Bhagavatam, every grihasta is a great communist who provides a means of living for everyone. Whatever a grihasta may possess, he should equally distribute to all living entities without discrimination. The best process is to distribute prasad. A grihasta should not be very much attached to his wife. He should engage even his own wife in serving a guest with all attention. Whatever money a grihasta accumulates by the grace of God, he should spend in 5 activities, namely, worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, receiving Vaishnavas and saintly persons, distributing prasad to the general public and to all living entities, offering prasad to his forefathers, and also offering prasad to his own self. Okay, let's just recap really quick. Worshipping Supreme Personality of Godhead, receiving Vaishnavas and saintly persons, distributing prasad to all the general public and to living entities, offering prasad to his forefathers, and also offering prasad to his own self. Has anyone heard Srila Prabhupada say, when householders make prasadam, then they should open the door and say, "Is anybody hungry? Is anybody hungry? Is anybody hungry?" And then when that person comes, then feed them. Yeah, feed them prasad. Grihastas should always be ready to worship everyone, as mentioned above. The Grihasta should not eat anything not offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As it is said in the Bhagavad Gita 3:13, Yagya Shishtina Santo Monchante Sarva Kilbhyashaha. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food that is offered first for sacrifice. The Grihastas should also visit the holy places of pilgrimage mentioned in the Puranas. In this way, he should be fully engaged in worshiping the Supreme Personality of Godhead for the benefit of his family, his society, his country, and humanity at large. All right, so we actually have 4 texts to cover today. They asked me to speak. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 14, texts 1 through 4. So, I guess we'll just read the text and purports first, and then speak. Okay, so text 1. I guess let's do call and response for just text 1, but since we have 4 texts, we'll just do the first one. Shri Yudhisthira Uvacha Grihasta Itam Padavim Vadhinayena Chanjasha Yaya Deva Rishe Bruhi Madrisha Griha Mudha Dihi. Shri Yudhisthira Uvacha Grihasta Itam Padavim Vidhinayena Chanjasha Yaya Deva Rishi Bruhi Madrisha Griha Mudha Drihai. Shri Yudhisthira Uvacha Grihasta Itam Padavim Vidhinayena Chanjasha Yaya Deva Rishi Bruhi Madrisha Griha Mudha Drihi. Anybody want to give it a go? I know? Okay. Okay, no. Okay. Shri Yudhisthira Uvacha. Yudhisthira Maharaj said, Grihasta, a person living with his family. Etam, this, the process mentioned in the previous chapter. Padavim, position of liberation. Vidhina, according to the instructions of Vedic scripture. Yena, by which. Cha, also. Agyasya, easily. Yayat, may get. Deva Rishi, O great sage among the demigods. Bruhi, kindly explain. Madrisha, such as me. Griha Mudha Drihi, completely ignorant of the goal of life. Maharaj Yudhishthira's translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Maharaj Yudhishthira inquired from Narada Muni, O my Lord, O great sage, kindly explain how we are staying at home without knowledge of the goal of life. Kindly explain how we who are staying at home without knowledge of the goal of life may also easily attain liberation according to the instructions of the Vedas. Okay. Purport. In the previous chapters, the great sage Narada has explained how a brahmachari, a vanaprastha, and a sannyasi should act. He first explained the dealings of a brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyasi because these three ashrams, or statuses of life, are extremely important for fulfillment of the goal of life. One should note that in the brahmachari ashram, vanaprastha ashram, and sannyas ashram, there is no scope for sex life, whereas sex is allowed in grihastha life under regulations. Narada Muni, therefore, first described brahmacharya, vanaprastha, and sannyas because he wanted to stress that sex is not at all necessary, although one who absolutely requires it is allowed to enter grihastha life, or householder life, which is also regulated by the Shastras and Guru. Yudhisthira Maharaj could understand all this. Therefore, as a grihastha, he presented himself as Griha Mudha Di, one who is completely ignorant of the goal of life. A person who remains a householder in family life is certainly ignorant of life's goal. He is not very much advanced in intelligence. As soon as possible, one should give up his so-called comfortable life at home and prepare to undergo austerity or tapasya. Tapo devyam putraka. According to the instructions given by Rishabdev to his sons, we should not create a so-called comfortable situation, but must prepare to undergo austerity. This is how a human being should actually live to fulfill life's ultimate goal. Okay, so before we go on to text 2 and 3 and 4, Om Jnana Tirmanasya Ganana Anjana Shalakaya Chakshurama Tamina Tasmai Shri Gurav Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantakam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Shah Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Rugunatam Tam Tam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parjana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Shah Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Garanki Radhe Vrinavaneshvare Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakalpadrubhisha Kripa Sinubhya Evacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I know I'm about to start. So, okay, so there's something that that we saw in this verse. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so Narada Muni, let's see, he presented himself as a Griha Mudadit, one who is completely ignorant of the goal of life. A person who remains a householder in family life is certainly ignorant of life's goal. He is not very much advanced in intelligence. And so we're reading in the previous chapters, we saw We saw Prahlad Maharaj, how he was going to school and preaching to his classmates, his at the demon school. He was preaching that life is so fast, right? Which is that the first, what is it? The first 20 years of life is playing soccer, right? And then, or cricket, whatever you want, you know, you know. And then after that, the next 20 years is going to school. And then there's family life, and then there's old age. So 2020, 2020, done. Because in Kali Yuga, everything is so quick, goes by so fast, blink of an eye, and then you're gone, done. So those who are remaining in householder life in a very comfortable situation, right? Then they have the tendency to think that this is all for me, right? And then they think that like, I am this body, my wife is my wife, right? And my family is my family. And I've heard it said that this is just extended sense gratification, right? And so now, of course, everybody has to go to work and make the living and support the family. But what the understanding here is that like one should not be so attached to the wife. One should not be attached to the self, the wife, or the family. And how is it that someone can be working all day for the family and not be attached, right? Because then you come home and you have a wife, probably. You probably have a wife, yeah. And then you come home and your wife says, "Oh, hello, Prabhu. I made this wonderful, delicious prasadam for you," and then you're like, "Oh, thank you so much," right? Right? Like, I'm not saying you are like this, but the point is, and this is all nice, right? But the point is that if one can view everything as a service to Krishna, right? Then there can be not so much attachment to the self, wife, and family. And because that's the goal of life, is that we need to decrease the attachment to serving ourselves and increase the attachment to serving Krishna and his devotees. And so it may be very, I don't know, I'm not a householder myself, but it may be very difficult because of the surrounding, right? But if everybody is in the proper consciousness, which, I mean, so many people, especially in this Radhakala Chandra's community, they really are. I see that they are in the proper consciousness, and I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying what it says in the Bhagavatam. Like, I definitely do not know what the proper consciousness is, but Srila Prabhupada can be the example for all of us. And so, actually, even on that note, right? Even though, I say, okay, I'm not qualified to give Bhagavatam class, whatever. If we just rely on Prabhupada and rely on Radhakala Chanji and the mercy of the spiritual masters, then everything will come, right? And so, like, even in our family life, for everyone that has families, which is like almost the whole community, right? Everybody is just working as best they can to serve Radhakala Chanji, regardless of whatever shortcomings they may have, right? And that's what's so beautiful about this community. That's why I just love Radhakala Chanji so much, because like, and Radhakala Chanji, because everybody. Well, thank you everyone for tolerating me, and here we are. So that's it. So regardless of whatever our mind says, regardless of whatever challenges we have, we just all come together, try to serve Radhakala Chanji, right? And then in the meantime, and as a byproduct, the bliss is there, right? So I see so many. I mean, many of the families here have personally fed me, and I definitely appreciated that. The delicious Radhakala Chanji Prasadam and whatever home devi going to tie everybody, and so the reason why is it so delicious, because it's Radhakala Chanji's mercy, it's going to tie's mercy, right? And so I see that there's so many people that have that excellent, the correct attitude of everything exists that we do to serve Radhakala Chanji. And that way we can free ourselves from this contamination of suffering life after life, because we want to be here and enjoy for ourselves, right? And so that's one way to do it. We must prepare We should not create a so-called comfortable situation, right? But must prepare to undergo austerity. This is how human beings should actually live to fulfill life's ultimate goal, right? So, okay, let's go to text 2 really quick because, oh, it looks like we only have 9 minutes left. Okay, well, all right, so we'll just go really quick. Actually, let's just go translation. Narada Muni replied, "My dear king, those who stay at home as householders must act to earn their livelihood, and instead of trying to enjoy the results of their work themselves, they should offer those results to Krishna, Vasudeva. How to satisfy Vasudeva in this life can be perfectly understood through the association of great devotees of the Lord." Purport. The format for Grihastha life should be dedication to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 6.1, it is said, we're getting light here. Yeah. Anashvita karma phalam karyam karma karotayaha cha shanyasi cha yogi cha na niragnir na chakriyaha. Quote, one who is unattached to the fruits of his work and who works as he is obligated is in the renounced order of life. And he is a true mystic, not he who lights no fire and performs no work. Whether one acts as a brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, or a sannyas, he must act only for the satisfaction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva, Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. This should be the principle for everyone's life. Narada Muni has already described the principles of life for a brahmachari, vanaprastha, and sannyasi. And now he is describing how a grihastha should live. This basic principle is to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The science of satisfying the Supreme Lord can be learned as described here. Shakshad upashita mahamunin. The word mahamunin refers to great saintly persons or devotees. Saintly persons are generally known as munis, or thoughtful philosophers concerned with transcendental subject matters. And mahamunin refers to those who have not only thoughtfully studied the goal of life, but who are actually engaged in satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. These persons are known as devotees. Unless one associates with devotees, one cannot learn the science of Vasudevarpana, or dedicating one's life to Vasudeva, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Wow. Oh yeah, so that reminds me that what I always think about is that that beautiful picture of the Bhakti Lata Bija, the Kripa of devotional service, and it says the 9 stages of devotion, and I always think about the stem, like kind of just like written on the stem, it says association with devotees at every stage of advancement, right? And so association with devotees is the stem that keeps us going to the next stage. Okay. In India, the principles of this science were followed strictly. Even 50 years ago, I saw that in the villages of Bengal and the suburbs of Calcutta, people engage in hearing Srimad Bhagavatam daily when all their activities ended, or at least in the evening before going to bed. Everyone would hear the Bhagavatam. Bhagavat classes were held in every village, and thus people had the advantage of hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, which describes everything about the aim of life, liberation or salvation. This will be clearly explained in the next verses. I feel so lucky to be here, and I got to go to Mangalarti today, and with Radhakal Chanji, and Gopal was here. He's here every day almost, right? And he was telling me that he likes to hear Shivaram Swami's kirtans, because he says that in that mood of New Vrajadam, is that what it's called? Yeah, New Vrajadam. That he says in that mood, there's nobody like going to movies and getting ice cream from ice cream shops and stuff. Everybody just comes together and they spontaneously do this kirtan for like 2 to 4 hours a day, right? And Shivaram Swami is there, like just like heightening the intensity of the kirtan. And he said that there was a reciprocation between the devotees and the Swami, and that it just like elevated the whole mood, and everyone just gets totally blissed out. And he was saying that that's how Krishna consciousness should be, like always bliss out like that. And it happens because they're doing things like reading Srimad Bhagavatam daily, come together for kirtan. They're not trying to sneak out, and go see a movie or something. Okay, so 3 and 4, we can do this, guys. Okay, we can do this. 3 and 4. Srimad Bhagavato Bhikshanam Avatar Katavratam Shradha no Yatakalam Upashanta Janavrataha Sat Sangat Kanachai Sangam Atmana Jayatmano Jishu Vimuchen Mucha Menashu Shrayam Swapnapavad Uttita. A grihastha must associate again and again with saintly persons, and with great respect he must hear the nectar of the activities of the Supreme Lord and his incarnations, as these activities are described in Srimad Bhagavatam and other Puranas. Thus one should gradually become detached from affection for his wife and children, exactly like a man awakening from a dream. Purport. The Krishna consciousness movement has been established to give grihasthas all over the world an opportunity to hear Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita specifically. The process, described in many ways, is one of hearing and chanting Srimvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana. Oh, I'm so sorry, I forgot to chant these. That's from 1-17. And the 3 verses chanted before Srimad Bhagavatam are 1-4, 1-17, and 1-18. And so, actually, you know what? We can cheat and just do them right now, really quick. Actually, let's do it at the end if we have time, because we only have so much time. Okay. But I especially like that one. Everyone, especially the grihasthas who are mudhahi, ignorant about the goal of life, should be given opportunities to hear about Krishna. Simply by attending lectures in the different centers of the Krishna consciousness movement, where topics of Krishna from Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam are discussed, they will be purified of their sinful inclination for constant indulgence in illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling, which have all become prominent in modern days. Thus they can be raised to the status of light, Punya Shravana Kirtana, simply by joining the kirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And by hearing about Krishna from Bhagavad Gita, one must be purified, especially if he also takes prasad. Okay, now we're thinking about prasad. Almost there. This is all going on in the Krishna consciousness movement. Another specific description here is Srinvan Bhagavato Bhikshanam Avatar Kata Ritam. It is not that because one has once finished Bhagavad Gita that he should not hear it again. Hari Bol. The word abhikshanam is very important. We should hear again and again. There is no question of stopping. Even if one has read these topics many times, he should go on reading again and again, because Bhagavat Kata, the words spoken by Krishna and spoken by Krishna's devotees about Krishna, are Amritam, nectar. That's my nectar buddy. He likes to read nectar. The more one drinks this Amritam, the more he advances in his eternal life. The human form of life is meant for liberation, but unfortunately, due to the influence of Kali Yuga, every day the grihasthas are working hard like asses. Early in the morning they rise and travel even 100 miles away to earn bread. Especially in the Western countries, I have seen that people awaken at 5 o'clock and go to offices and factories to earn their livelihood. People in Calcutta and Bombay also do this every day. They work very hard in the office or factory, and again they spend 3 or 4 hours in transportation returning home. Then they retire at 10 o'clock and again rise early in the morning to go to their offices and factories. This kind of hard labor is described in the Shastras as the life of pigs and stool eaters. um, please accept my humble obeisance. Nayam deha bhajam nirloke kashtam kaman aryate vid bhujanam ye. Of all living entities who have accepted material bodies in this world, one who has been awarded this human form should not work hard day and night simply for sense gratification, which is available even for dogs and hogs that eat stool. Wow. Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5, Text 1. One must find some time for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. This is Vedic culture. One should work 8 hours at most to earn his livelihood, and either in the afternoon or in the evening, a householder should associate with devotees to hear about the incarnations of Krishna and his activities, and thus be gradually liberated from the clutches of Maya. However, instead of finding time to hear about Krishna, the householders, after working hard in offices and factories, find time to go to a restaurant or a club where instead of hearing about Krishna and his activities, they're very, very much pleased to hear about the political activities of demons and non-devotees, and to enjoy sex, wine, women, and meat, and in this way waste their time. This is not Grihastha life, but demoniac life. The Krishna consciousness movement, however, with its centers all over the world, gives such fallen and condemned persons an opportunity to hear about Krishna. In a dream, we form a society of friendship and love, where we awaken, we see that it has... Wait a minute. In a dream, we form a society of friendship and love, and when we awaken, we see that it has ceased to exist. Similarly, one's gross society, family, and love are also a dream. And this dream will be over as soon as one dies. Therefore, whether one is dreaming in a subtle way or a gross way, these dreams are false and temporary. One's real business is to understand that one is soul, aham brahmasmi, and that his activities should therefore be different. Then one can be happy. Brahma Bhutta Pranashatma Na Sochati Na Kanshati Sama Sharveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. One who is transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments nor desires to have anything. He is equally disposed towards all living entities. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, text 54. One who is engaged in devotional service can very easily be liberated from the dream of materialistic life. Wow. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? All right. It's 8:35, so it's time to go. Now we made it. Now it's time to take prasadam. I guess we can just cap it up really quick because we should just not just end. So then one can be happy, right? One's real business is to understand that one is soul, and that his activities should therefore be different. Then one can be happy. So one is soul. One is soul means that the original constitutional position is servant of Krishna. Okay? And we are all doing this no matter what ashram we're in. And everybody here, there's so many people here. Everyone is more advanced and they're very nice. And I see so many people coming together to study about Krishna They make study groups. They have online Zoom calls. They're almost everyone in this community. You knock on any door, and I've done it many times. I go from door to door, just getting prasad. you know. So it's a great example for how people can open their doors and distribute prasad, right? And how people can realize that they are the soul, and we can all come together to serve Radha Chanji. Is that good? Radha Chanji, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Yeah, Hare Krishna. It's all Krishna's mercy. I just read.